Right. Good morning to all, men.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Uh, right. I'll wait for 4 more minutes, men. People are still joining, actually. Is my screen is visible, man?
Yes, sir.
Right. Uh, Good morning to all, men. One more point here is I already shared in the Google Classroom. I already shared the BFT and DFT related to the graph one. Okay, the graph traversals. We have two types of traversals are there. The programs is already shared in our Google Classroom. Okay, you can try to execute that one. And in case of any problems, please let me know immediately. Okay. And one more thing here is the two things. One is the graph traversals is consisting of two things. One is two methods we can able to traverse. So one is the breadth first traversal and as well as the depth first traversal. We are calling it as. Okay, right. And sometimes they may call it as depth first, breadth first search, and as well as the depth first search. Also, they are calling it as. Okay. Right. So the first most thing here is that you can see, um, uh, as we already been gone through that DFT. So today we are going to be going through the DFT. That means depth first traversal. Okay. In this, for example, I had been taken a graph below. So this is what the graph I had been taken here right now. Okay. I will explain you how it was going to be taking and all. Okay. So the first thing here is that traversing a graph in a depthward motion. That means first, see from here onwards, for example, this is what the source vertex, let us assume like. So that means that my graph is going to be starting from here. So from there onwards, it was moving to A, and actually previously in the breadth first search, what we did when first we completed the upward nodes, right? So whichever is nearer to those nodes, it was going to be taking those kind of values and inserting into the queue. But whereas in the depth first search, we are using a stack. So first we need to find out where is the adjacent, go on finding out the adjacent depth node. So that's why, see from here onwards, it was moving the step one, it was going to be finding out the adjacent node is A here right now, and push it into the stack. Okay. And then again, again from A, is there any adjacent node? Yes, that is D is there. So then move to stack. And from D, is there any adjacent node is there? So it was G is there. Okay. So from depth to upward, it was moving on. From depth to upward, it was moving on. So that is why it was calling to be as in depth first traversal. Okay. So once you reached here right now, so we can able to see that what are the adjacent nodes here to G. Then we are moving to E. Okay. So insert this E to, push it into stack. And then again, from E, what is the adjacent node? That is B. But G is also there. But for the adjacent nodes of E, G and B is there. But as the G is already been visited, so we have to insert the node of B right now. Okay. So into the, push it into the stack. Okay. So is there any further nodes for B, man? Right, let us check it out. So one is adjacent nodes, unvisited adjacent node is S for B, and as well as E is there. But as E is already visited and S is already visited, so is there any further nodes for this one? No. So what we have to do, if the node does not have any unvisited adjacent nodes, then we have to start go on popping up. So pop up. So pop the element. So first it will pop the B, and topmost element is going to be deleted when in the stack. Right? So last in, first out, whichever the recent entry that was being done into the stack, that one is going to be deleted. So now the recent one is B has been deleted. Now, so once the B has been deleted and then going to E, so is there any adjacent nodes for this one also? Nothing. So it will move to the parent, which is nothing but G right now. Okay. So from G onwards, is there any unvisited adjacent nodes are there? So you can look into this one. So D is already been visited and E is already been visited. And which one is not yet been visited? Mean F. So that's why the unvisited adjacent node to G here is F here right now. Okay. And once and the F has been inserted into, pushed into the stack, and then finding out that what is the adjacent node of F. Yes. So we have the adjacent node, which is nothing but unvisited adjacent node is C right now here. Right. From C onwards, is there any unvisited adjacent nodes, man? No, because see, yes, we have the adjacent nodes that is S and as well as F is there, but F is already visited and S is already visited. So there are no nodes for this one, and you can keep go on popping up until the stack is empty. So this is how. So that means what it was trying to do here is, first it will go to the depthward direction. So depthward direction, then it will start finding out the adjacent nodes of the above nodes. Okay, and moving towards upward. Okay, so that is why it was going to be calling it as a depth first traversal. Then is it clear up to here right now? So let us see that a simple oral confirmation, but anyway, we'll see the example also, no problem with that. Okay. See, rule number one, visit the adjacent, unvisited adjacent vertex, mark it as visited. So once you taken that origin as one of the node, the starting node, so that one is need to be marked and display. Push it into a stack. Push it into a stack. Right. Rule two. If you find any unvisited adjacent node, then we are going to push it, mark it as visited, and push it into the stack. okay, and display it also. So rule 2, if no adjacent vertex is found, so what we have to do, man, pop up an vertex from the stack. So that means whichever the vertexes, whichever the nodes that was being inserted into the, pushed into the stack, one of the topmost node or the vertex that was need to be popped out when no adjacent vertex is not found. Okay. It will pop up all the vertices from the stack which do not have adjacent vertices, okay. And the same thing like rule 3, that is going to be repeating the rule 1 and rule 2. Okay, let us see a simple example related to the graph. So let us see a simple example. So this is the one. So let us initializing, I'm going to taking this kind of graph, man. Okay, and this kind of graph I'm going to taking it here, and I'm going to initializing that stack. So initially, so my top is going to be the -1, so that it indicates that my stack is empty. It indicates that my stack is empty, right? So let us see which is the origin node that I'm going to taking here is. The origin node that I'm going to taking here is, here it is yes, man. Okay, here I'm going to taking S. So in this graph I'm going to taking S is an origin node. So immediately we have to, the second one, immediately we have to mark it to be as a visited, and then display it and push it into the stack. Push it into the stack, right, man? Mark S as visited and put it onto the stack. Explore any unvisited adjacent nodes from S, man. Yes, we have unvisited nodes. What is that? A, B, and C are there. Okay, we have 3 nodes and we can pick any one of them. Any of them we can able to pick. So any one of them you can able to pick, man. Okay, there is no restriction that we need to go this side or that we need to go this side. Whether right hand side or left hand side, there is no restriction for it. So based on the criteria, you can able to move from see, if it is in less than numbers, then if it is 1, 2, 3 or something like that, then I will go with starting from left side, because it is one is a lesser than and the next one is in the ascending order. I'm going on. Otherwise, I'm here. It was only the alphabets are there, so I'm going to I want to stick some kind of rules regarding to that. So either, but there is no restriction to move from left or right or something like that. Okay, so it is not a tree; it is a graph, man. So we can able to move anything randomly. Okay, but we can. I want to pick an element. I want to pick a node which is nothing but A right now. As per the alphabetical, I'm going for it. Okay. So we can pick any of them. For this example, we shall take the node in an alphabetical order. That's what it was trying to say. Okay. So as per this description, it was trying to give you the explanation for it. Okay. Right. For A, which one is nothing but the A is nothing but an the node that which is nothing but an unvisited adjacent node. Unvisited adjacent node. Okay. So then, so once you pick that unvisited adjacent node, which is nothing but A, then immediately what we have to do, mark it as visited, and the second one, display it, and the third one, we have to push it into the stack. We have to push it into the stack. Already S is there, and above to the top is now A is there, right? That is what the recent one, that A is the recent one, right? Now, so mark A as visited and put it onto the stack. Explore any unvisited adjacent node from A. From A, we are trying to finding out, is there any unvisited adjacent node is there, right? So from A, one is S is there and another is D is there, right? But so both S and D are adjacent to A, but we are concerned for unvisited nodes only, as S is already visited. So which one we have to pick, man? D, right? So D has to be picked right now, because as we have to go depthward, but not the initial adjacent nodes, man. So that means we cannot able to go with B and C also. First, we need to find out the depth of the tree. Okay, so the depth node, whichever it is there, so we are going for it. Okay, so the depth is nothing but, so for A, what is the adjacent node, man? D. So we are the same rule that we have to, rule 1 that I have to apply. So the D is going to be visited right now, right? So then visit D and mark it as visited and put on the stack. Yes. So D has been put into the stack right now. Okay. Here and find out for D what are all the adjacent nodes when unvisited adjacent node. Here we have B and C nodes which are adjacent to D and both are unvisited. Yes, but actually the adjacent nodes to D here is one is A and another is B and another is C. But what we are going to be concerned about, we are concerned about only the unvisited adjacent nodes. We are concerned about only the unvisited adjacent nodes we are going to consider. That is only B and C are the only unvisited adjacent nodes that we have to D right now. Okay, right. So as A is already been visited, right? So then coming to the point. So to the D and both are unvisited, right? However, we shall again choose in an alphabetical order. So again, we was trying to take only from left to right. So for example, it is not mandatory thing, but it is an optional thing. Keep it in mind, right? Fine. So what is for the alphabetical order? I'm going with B right now, right? So as once you pick that B as an unvisited adjacent node of D, then immediately what we have to do, man, again we choose the B, mark it as visited, and put it onto the stack. Push it into the stack. Push it into the stack. Here now, what we have here, B does not have any unvisited adjacent node. So we pop B from the stack. Is it fine, man? Let us check it out. The B is there. What are the adjacent nodes of B, man? Actually, adjacent node. Adjacent node only I'm talking about, but not unvisited nodes. Okay. So S and D are there. But S is already been visited, that we already marked, and D is already been visited, that is also been marked. So as per the consideration of our concern here is we have to check it out for unvisited adjacent node. Is there any unvisited adjacent node is there for B? Nothing. If that is the case, nothing is there. So what we have to do, what is the rule to? Immediately we have to pop that B from the stack. So as per the principle of stack, what is that mean? Last in, first out. Where last is nothing but the recent one, the recent element which is being pushed into the stack, that has to be deleted first, right? So as per the principle of this one, so this is what the stack we have. B, D, this one has to be popped out, man. B has to be popped out right now. So B has to be popped out. So B has to be popped out right now. Okay. Then so once the B has been popped out in the stack, then what is the next topmost element of the stack, man? Which is D, right? Find out the adjacent node of the D. Find out the unvisited adjacent node. We have to find out of which one, man? 2D. Is there anything is there? Actually, let us take a consideration. So we check the stack top for return to the previous node. Okay, and check if it has any unvisited nodes are there, right? So once the B has been popped out, deleted, then which is the next topmost element for D? So for D, what we have to do, we have to check it out. Is there any unvisited adjacent nodes are there or not? We have to check it out, right? So let us see. First, we will take forget about the unvisited, and we have to check it out. We will check it out. What are the adjacent nodes are there? Let us find out first. So A is there, B is there, and C is there for D, right? A, B, C are the adjacent nodes to D, man. Okay, but our concern here is if already visited nodes will not be considered. So only the unvisited adjacent node only the consideration, right? So A is already been visited, yes, and B is already been visited, yes. Then C is already been visited, man? No. So C was not yet been visited still now. So we can consider the adjacent node to D here is the unvisited adjacent node here is C right now. Okay. So for D, only unvisited adjacent node is from D is C now. So immediately what we have to do, man? So mark it as visited the C and pushed it into the stack. So C has been pushed into the stack right now. C has been pushed into the stack right now. So then from C, what is the topmost element of here, man? That is nothing but C here right now. So check it out. Is there any unvisited adjacent nodes are there from C, man? Nothing. Actually, adjacent nodes are S and D is there, but S and D both are already been visited. But and we can able to consider that C does not have any kind of unvisited adjacent nodes. So what we have to do? Pop it. So that means delete the C value. And then what is the second topmost man? That is D right now. Then D will be there. Then check it out. For D, is there any unvisited adjacent nodes are there? No. So then pop it out. And for A, is there any unvisited adjacent nodes are there? No. Pop it out. And S, is there any unvisited adjacent nodes are there? No. Pop it out. So finally, what we had got, man? So stack is empty. Okay. As C does not have any unvisited adjacent nodes, so we keep popping the stack until we find a new node. That means unvisited node. Okay, adjacent unvisited node that has an unvisited adjacent node. In this case, there is none, and we keep popping until the stack is empty. Is it clear, man? Any questions in this?
It's clear, sir.
And then now we will go to the program right now. So before implementation of the program, what are the mandatory steps that we need to take care of? First thing, a graph is mandatory. That should be represented in an adjacency matrix. Okay. So once we got the adjacency matrix, then so according to that, we are going to be going for the function for DFS. So that means DFT. So depth first traversal, how it was using this stack, we'll see that. Right. Meanwhile, open your program which was being shared in your Google Classroom. Man, afternoon, I think you have the lab concept is there. Okay, so lab is there. So most of you people has to execute the BST program and as well as this graph program. Okay, so please try to install the Turbo C, because for the external labs, on which platform you are going to be executing the programs, man?
Turbo C.
Exactly. So now it is clear?
Yes.
Right. So please try to install. If you have the net, that is more than enough, so that you can able to download it from Google also. Turbo C, make it as Borland Turbo C. You can call it as, or okay. So you can download that one. So based on your operating system, please install it. Okay. So you can install that. After installation, please place your .c files into the bin folder. Okay. So once you install the Turbo C, that you can able to find out in C drive. You can able to find out TC folder, Turbo C folder. Okay. Just give me a minute. I will show you that one also. Once you, after installation, that you can able to come to see, I had already been installed. So go to that C drive. In the C drive, we can able to find out TC man after installation. Okay, in this TC, you can find out bin folder is there, but you don't go for this one, BZA folder. BZA folder is only for image kind of coloring and all these things, that the graphics related files will be existing inside into this BZA folder. Okay, And apart from that, few folders is also been there. That lib folder, that means library files, that means header files you can include. And in this include folder also, we can able to find out all the .h files. So header files you can able to find out here, but don't touch this one. If you made any kind of changes, the entire software is going to be changed once again. So we have to uninstall and install it once again. Okay. So don't touch this include folder because it consisting of header files and if you don't, and class libraries folders we have. And right. So this is what the main thing that we have. Bin folder. In bin folder, we have .exe files, .obj files, and .c files will be existing inside into this folder. Okay, whatever the C files that you have, download all those things and copy all those .c files into this bin folder. That's it. Okay, so once you copied all the .c files which was being related to your programs, okay, you can able to copy simply Control C and Control V you are going to use it. Control V is for pasting. So simply copy those .c files which have been given in your Google Classroom. Okay, in Google Classroom I had given all the task programs right now. Right? Is there anything is pending from? Is there anything pending of task programs, man? You can check it out. See, the syllabus, as per the syllabus, I already gave. What is it? Where is it? Syllabus. Okay, so you can paste all those .c files in the bin folder now. Okay, bin folder you can able to paste all those .c files, and open this one newly. Okay, and you can able to find out. Go for the file. If you open the file, man, keep it in mind. Sometimes this cursor will not going to be work, man. Sometimes this cursor will not going to be work because as it is an open software, you need to face some kind of problems. Okay, so what we have to do here is, what is the shortcut if my cursor is not going to work, man? So what I will do, man, how to open a new file? What is the option for from the keys, man? Shortcut keys. What is it? Anyone, please? Then you can see here now the menu is there. File. In the file, which one is the highlighted letter, man? Which one is the highlighted letter?
F.
F, right? So simply go with Alt F. It will open it. Okay. And on your keyboard, you can find out the up arrow and down arrow. So after to the control button and below to the shift button. Okay. You can find out up arrow, down arrow, right move and left move. Is it clear, man? You can open that one, and then again after Alt F, press that Alt F. So immediately, what is the highlighted letter to open, man? What is the highlighted letter to go for open? So simply you can able to, O is there, right? So simply press the O. So what will happen? It was been popped up a window, and you can able to type. If you are unable to see that your files, .c files, *.c, you can able to press that. Okay, and press enter. Immediately the files which are related with .c files, all those files will be appeared in this box, man. Okay, so you can see that you can navigate it easily otherwise, down arrow and up arrow. Or otherwise, if it is unable to do that, so if you have large number of programs, then what we have to do, please remember that name of that program. Okay, for example, I said that graph is there, right? So graph BFT. So simply I'm typing that word GRAPH. That's what. Is it clear, man? You can go to there directly. So if you press that letter GRAPH, then it will move to that file immediately, .c file. And then you can able to press enter, then it will open that file. Clear, man? This is how we can able to then for execution, for running and execution, right? First, what we have to do, go for man, compile. So what is the shortcut key for compile right now? What is the shortcut key for compile, man?
F9.
Alt F9.
You can go with Alt F9 also, or you can able to go with Alt C also. Okay, and here itself it was trying to showing that compile Alt F9 is a shortcut key. Okay, you can go with Alt F9 directly, or you can, if you are unable to remember that shortcut key, then you can able to go with Alt F, sorry, not Alt F, Alt C, because as the menu, in the menu itself, you could clearly been seeing that compile. So in the compile, what is the highlighted letter meant? C is there. So Alt C, you can go for it, and you can able to press enter into that one. You can able to choose that. So whatever you want, you can able to choose it using the up arrow and down arrow. And if you want to go for compile, then you can able to compile is only for getting that what kind of errors that is consisting of in case of. Okay, if no errors, then fine, no problem with that. Okay, then enter once again, and then what is the next one for execution? For execution in the sense run. In the menu, that run option is there, right? In the menu, that run option is there. So in that option, that control F9, either you can able to go with control F9, or otherwise we can go with Alt R. So the shortcut key is control plus F9. Okay, and press enter, it will execute the program. It will execute the program. Is it clear, man? So you people at any cost, please start downloading that Turbo Seaman on your systems. Please, from today onwards, you people has to show me in Turbo C only. Okay. In case of any doubts or something like that, anyway, we are going to discussing it one more time in the lab today. Okay. And in the meanwhile, please install the Turbo C. Okay. It won't take more time. It will take very less time only for installation. Okay. So please do it immediately and let me know. So today, you people has to execute the BST. So binary search tree that you people has to execute and show it to me. That all, I think most of you people, last time, how many people has been shown me, or we didn't started it?
We did not start, sir.
We did not started it, right? Okay, okay. ATB was well done. Okay. Okay, so please, you people has to show me that program, but everyone please get ready with .c file, bst.c file. Okay, as it was already been shared in your Google Classroom also, and download these two programs also. Okay, so in the afternoon we'll check it out. You people has to execute that BST and as well as the graph programs itself. Okay, so get ready with that. Right. So now, now let us see the program which is which one is that? This is what DFT. First one, as using the stack, we are going to doing this one. So what we have to do, first one, we are going to taking that the variables of top is equal to -1. Top is equal to -1. Okay, and then what is the array that we had been taken here right now as my graph for as an element. Okay, my graph is consisting of, at the time of declaration, we have to provide. So we have to provide the graph here right now. So that means as it is a two-dimensional array, a graph is a two-dimensional array because in the format of matrix representation we are going to be, right? It is adjacency matrix it was going to be. So as it is a matrix, then my graph is going to be in the format of matrix. So I'm going to take A of 20 and 20. At the time of declaration, it is a mandatory thing that some kind of values has to be passed as a sizes of rows and columns. Okay, and then the next one here is whether we had been visited the value, whether we had been visited that node or not. I'm going to taking this single dimensional array, and as well as in the same form of stack also. Stack is also in single dimensional array. I'm going to take two single dimensional arrays that has been taken. One is for inserting after visiting. Once I mark it as visited, then I'm going to be pushed into the stack. So for that purpose, I had been taken the stack single dimensional array. My array name itself is called as in stack only. Okay, and here also the VIS is nothing but visited nodes that I want to do. Okay, right. So totally. Right. So what I will have to do here is, let me take a simple Excel sheet here right now, and according to that, right. So I'm going to starting my graph, which is nothing but in the format of adjacency. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. So, and I'm going to taking this one is also 0, 1, 2, and 3. Right. So this one is one extra. Right. Okay. So I'm going to taking my graph here is, let us assume like okay, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to take my graph like this, and insert the shapes from 1 to 3, as well as from 3 to 2, as well as 1 to 2. Okay, so this is what my graph that we have. And this is what my adjacency matrix. Okay, right. And then one more thing that we have to take in consideration here is what are the next thing that we had been taken. So one dimensional array, that is VAS and as well as stack. VAS and as well as stack. So let us assume like okay. Let us assume like this is what the stack, and that means top is equal to -1 initially that had been taken, right? So this is what top is equal to -1 and stack of 20. Let's assume like, so this is what the stack of, let's assume that means top is equal to -1. So initially top is equal to -1. Okay. Right, and then this is what the stack. And one more thing that we have to consider here is VIS 0, 1, VAS is an number of visited nodes. Okay, whenever you visited, so that means as it is a single dimensional array, the index should be start from 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? That we have to take in care here right now. Okay, fine. Now, first thing, what we are trying to doing here, man. So within this, so BIS has been drawn and stack is already been taken and graph adjacency matrix is already going to be. Then we have to enter the arcs. Arcs is nothing but the number of edges that was been existing. Okay, so for example, let us say this is the same things that we can able to take it here. The number of vertices are nothing but these things. Right. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges we have. Okay, so let us mark them. So based on this mark that I am going to saying that, so 1, 2. So first initially what I will do, man, I will mark all these things to be with 0, man. Okay, I will marking all these cells to be with 0. And then I'm going to placing the values here right now. So what is that edge, man? 1, 2, 1, 2. 1 is there, and 1, 3, yes, and 1, 1 is 0 only. So 2, 1, yes, 2, 2, 0, and 2, 3, yes, it is there, and 3, 1, 3, 1, yes, it is there, 3, 2, yes, it is there, but 3, 3, 0 is there. So finally, this is what the adjacency matrix that we have, right? So what I will do here is, so this is what the adjacency matrix. So 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0 is the adjacency matrix. That means, see, I told you previously also, well, at the time of basic graph implementation, we are going to eliminating the 0. But as per there is a requirement that we need to take the two-dimensional array, I don't want to consider this 0. So as my nodes are going to be starting from where, man? From 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and like that it was been taken. So from here onwards, this is how the adjacency matrix was being created based on the edges of the arc. Edges are nothing but arcs, we are calling it as. That means the lines that was been giving the relationship between the source and the destination vertexes. Okay, right. Now, as see, this is what the number of vertices, which is nothing but 3. Okay, for example, for n value, for n is equal to 3 that we had been taken. Okay. Sir, can you please tell me that absentees, man?
So 17 and 45.
17 and 45. Okay. Right. So, right, then the number of vertices is nothing but 3 here right now, and based on that, so we are going to considering drawing that adjacency matrix. So it was trying to saying if I is equal to 1, and here you can able to say that I is equal to 1, and my for loop has been started here now, less than or equal to n right now. Okay, and j is equal to 1. So what will happen? So if 1 has a node with 1, that arc is there, enter 1 with arc or 0 for no arc, right? So I need to enter either 1 or 0. if I entered 1, then immediately in this graph, in this matrix, it was immediately marking that cell man. So now, what is that scanf? The value that you're going to giving it right now. So if I gave the value which is nothing but 1, so what does it will do? Into the adjacency matrix of A of 1 and 1. So it was being marked with the cell of 1 right now. Okay. If it is 0, then it will mark with 0. Okay, either 0 or 1, it was going to be marked. So based like this, we are going to, as per the input that you are going to giving, so it will create the adjacency matrix. So this is how up to this one. Then for displaying the adjacency matrix, this is what the code that was being taken for adjacency display, adjacency matrix display, simply displaying that matrix only. Okay, so but where we are, keep it in mind, but where we are going to be starting from 1, but not from 0. Okay. Right, from 1, as per the rows and columns, both are starting with 1 only. Okay, I'm not considering 0. Right. So 0th positions of the rows and columns was not going to be considered, but initially it was being placed all those cells with 0. Okay, so finally this one is going to be displaying the adjacency matrix. Right now, so from here onwards, let us see. And then what is the next one, man? So initially, what I'm trying to doing here is for I is equal to 0 and I is less than n. That means totally how many nodes are there? Totally how many visiting nodes are there? Man, totally 3 nodes that we have. That is 1, 2, and 3. Right? So VIS of 1. VIS of 1. That means as it is an integer value, so initially it was going to be taking that it was 0. Okay, and as well as VIS of 1. So that means what is the value that has to be placed? 0. And then again, the I is going to be incremented as if I is equal to 1. So look at it here, man. If I is equal to 1, then what you told? VIS of 1 is equal to 0. Okay, I had been placed with 0. Okay, and then in the same way, it will go on like this until. See, I is going to be incremented right now. So what is the value of I right now? It is 2. Then VIS of 2 is going to be 0. Simply I'm placing the 0 values into that visiting array, into the visited array, into the visiting array, so that I'm placed all those things will be unvisited only. It means 0. Okay, and if the I value becomes 3 right now, so what will happen? That is also going to be 3. Okay, and that is also going to be VIS of 3. VIS of 3 is also going to be equal to 0. Right, man? So this is how we had been initially. I'm going to taking that visiting the node. So we have any node of visiting of 0, man? Nothing. So we have the node starting from 1, 2, and 3 is there. 1, 2, and 3 is there, right? So initially I kept zeros to all the visiting nodes, man. Okay, but as per the program, once I entered into the DFS, then what I will do, if I visited the particular node, I will change this instead of 0, I'm changing to 1. So that means that makes sense to me. It was being visited. Okay, right. For that purpose, initially I had been taken VIS is going to be the 0. The whole array is single dimensional array is going to be a 0 right now initially. That means I'm assuming that all the nodes are unvisited. Okay, and then if the I becomes 4 right now, so what will happen now? Then the condition becomes false right now. Come out of it. Then immediately what you had been entered, man, enter the source vertex that has to be stored into which variable, man? S. That has to be stored into the S. So what is the source vertex? S is we have. So the source vertex S is nothing but, for example, let us start with 1. Let us start with 1 right now. Okay, so. Then what is the next statement, man? DFS of S comma N. So as the source vertex here is, the source vertex S is equal to 1 had been taken here. Out of 3 nodes, 1, 2, 3 had been taken. The source vertex is nothing but 1 right now. And then DFS of depth first traversal or depth first search, you can call it as. And what is the value I had been taken? S is nothing but 1. And what is the N value, man? That is nothing but 3. Clear, man? A function call was being made. DFS of 1, 3. So this is what the function we have, right? So here we can say that the 1 and 3, the 1 has been copied. 1 has been copied into which variable man? S is equal to 1, and n has been copied with a value which is nothing but 3 right now. Okay, int I comma k. So we are going to take in some kind of local variables here, and then immediately what we told me. So as per the rule 1, what we have to do? So once any of the origin value, that means the source vertex has been initiated, then that value has been pushed to stack immediately and mark it as visited, right? So first I am going to pushing that one into the stack man. First I am going to pushing that one into the stack. So what is it? Push off. What is S? S is nothing but 1. So push off 1 in the sense immediately. What is this push function will do? Let us go with this one. Where is this push function? This is pop function. And what it will do immediately? This one. So push off 1. So that means the item is going to be storing a value which is nothing but 1 right now, copied with a value which is nothing but 1. So we can see that. So top is equal to, actually we had been told that 20 is the size of the stack that we had been told, but we can write it as size minus 1 also by declaring that the constant variable has defined size is equal to something like that. Okay, that we can able to define like that, right? So what is the main concept of this one here is top double equals to size minus 1, 20 minus 1, that is 19. Top double equals to 19, we can able to say that is the top is double equals to 19 man? No, top is minus 1 right now. Okay, top is minus 1 right now. So the condition is false. Then go to the else part. What does it say, man? Increment the top value. So once I increment the top value, so what does it will take, man? It was going to be with 0 right now, right? Now the top is here. Now the top is here right now, right? It is not going to be the minus 1. So it is not going to be the minus 1 right now. So top is 0 right now. And stack of 0, that is equal to item. That means what is the item value? That is node 1. So push that into the stack. So 1 has been pushed into the stack right now. Right, man? Right? And then, so is there any further more statements here, Naita? No. So go back to that function. Where is that function? This is what the function we have, right? So this is what the function, right? And then what is the next statement, man? So first node has been pushed into the stack. Then immediately VIS of S. So that means VIS of visiting node. That means 1. VIS of 1. S is nothing but 1. So VIS of 1 is equal to, what do we have to mark, man? 1. That means visiting node is also been marked. So VIS of 1, which is nothing but this one, the node 1 has already been visited, so we have to mark with 1. Clear, man? Then go to this next one. So what is this next one, man? Then the next statement is k is equal to pop off. K is equal to pop off. So k is equal to, then go to that function. Where is that function? It was going to be pop off. Right, this one. Int k. So okay, I'm going to taking a value local variable which is nothing but k here right now. So if top double equals to minus 1, man, is it top double equals to minus 1? No, because top is 0 right now, right? So the condition is false. Go to the else part. So what does it say? Says, man, k is equal to stack of pop minus minus. So what is this top of minus minus, man? So top of minus minus is nothing but, again, it was going back to the minus 1, right? So it will go back to the minus 1 right now. Okay, so that the first element has been, the first node has been popped out, right? So again, top is equal to stack of top minus minus. In the sense, first we have to go for minus. So 0 minus 1, which is nothing but minus 1 again. So now the top is holding a value which is nothing but minus 1 right now. Okay, so that 1 has been deleted. 1 has been deleted right now. Okay, so finally, what is the value? The deleted value, which is 1, has been stored into which variable, man? K. So written k. So go to that. So k is equal to pop off. So finally, what is the value that k is holding? That is nothing but 1 right now. Okay, then if k is not equal to 0, yes. So then what we have to print, man? First to print the output value, which is nothing but 1. Then go to that while of k is not equal to 0. Yes, that is also true, right? Coming inside into it. So, and what we told me, so for I is equal to 1, I is less than n, and I plus plus. So into this for loop, under this for loop, only one if statement is there. So what we have to do, one is for pushing the element and another is for marking the visiting node. Okay, marking the visiting node. So okay, marking the visiting node now. I think the time is moving up. Okay, we will do one thing, man. Once again, I will continue this in the lab itself. Okay, and we'll see that program in the lab. So because for tracing out, it was taking some more time actually. So the time is not sufficient right now. Okay, only 4 minutes left is there. As of now, any questions, man? As of now, any questions? So please go through the program, man.
సార్ అక్కడ ఏమి అడ్జసెంట్ నోట్స్ లేకపోతే పాప్ చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా సార్, ముందే ఎందుకు పాప్ చేసుకోవాలి?
డిస్ప్లే పర్పస్ కోసం. డిస్ప్లే చేయాలి కదా వాల్యూని.
ఓకే సార్, ఓకే సార్.
And in the meanwhile, please go to the program and start installing the Turbo C. Please try to install the Turbo C. Then go with the defined. Yes. Something like that. Here we can able to say that the sets here. Push and pop. There we can go with the conditions like this. If top double equals to size minus 1, then we can go for this. One zero. 1 2 2 1 1 2 3 1 2 2 1 1 2 2 2 0 2 2 3 1 3 2 1 1 3 2 1 3 3 0. So finally the matrix is 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 0. So the source vertex is 1. Then we can able to go with the 3. Okay, 1 3 2. Okay, fine. It was moving from left to right. If you have any questions, you can ask me, man. Right, man. Thank you and have a great day.